Welcome back to our podcast where we talk about all things. It's giving beauty,
fashion,
pop culture, and a lot of kiki. I'm your pop culture baddie.
And your fashionable Scorpio.
So join us, Mommy Tiff
And Chan.
as we get feminine chaotic.
What?
It's the name of the podcast, Feminine Chaos. Duh.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Hi, lovers.
I'm Chan.
And I'm Tiff. And this is the Feminine Chaos Podcast. If this is your first time seeing us in a while, you know, it's been a little minute, Chan. What's going on?
I am a recovering influenza haver. Influenza haver, sorry. I was down bad for a whole fucking week. But I do have new hair.
Hey.
Senegalese twist. I am a little irritated because that should not have taken 9 hours, that I will say. If I wanted to sit in that chair for 9 hours, I would have got me some fucking braids, but that's okay.
Not
but I'm here. It's knotless. But I'm here. Ye motherfucking haul.
Yes, period.
If you're watching the video portion, ye motherfucking haul.
You know, we finna have you on a Texas Hold'em today. So we're gonna be talking about...
This ain't Texas. This ain't Phaedra.
I'm weak. We are going to be talking about a lot of things today.
A lot of things.
We're going to be combining...
Wait, how was your week?
This week was just like a transitional week for me, and then just checking in with my friends. I feel like everybody from left and right was getting knocked either by COVID or flu. When I tell y'all, I was over here popping vitamins because I was like, y'all, I can't get sick right now. Like, Lord Jesus. I was like, please put your arms and surround me. But yeah, so that was my week. You know, nothing too crazy, but just like, it was a transitional week. For sure.
Yeah, y'all, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I think I am patient zero because I looked through a super spreader by accident. I had a Valentine's Day party. I had all my friends at my house. Suddenly, everybody ended up sick. All of us.
Because I didn't.
Everybody had a little. Well, maybe not you, but everybody had a little sniffle, a little throat scratch. was feeling a little down. But we're back. We're better, and we're here. We're gonna do the show a little differently today because we have had a major pop culture phenomenon on the same level of Zola just happened kind of recently.
Can you tell the audience who Zola is, just in case?
If you were not on Twitter back in, let's say 2016, 2017, there was a woman by the name of Zola who dropped a legendary Twitter thread that started with a picture of her and this white girl and said, do y'all want to know how me and this bitch fell out? And I'm about to tell you.
Right.
It was made into a movie.
By A24.
By A24. The thread has now been memorialized on Twitter. You can find it fucking anywhere. I suggest you go read that, but it's about how this girl went to Miami, almost got trafficked. At the time when we thought nothing could get better than Miss Zola, why don't we go into our viral clip of the week and then let's jump into it from there.
Why you're here for part of the new series that I'm calling Who the Fuck Did I Marry? I'm going to create this playlist series, and I'm going to tell the story of how I met, dated, married, and divorced a real pathological liar.
Part 87 million. Who the fuck did I marry? Now,
Listen.
If you're watching with us, go get a drink.
Yeah.
Go get a drink. Now, we gonna be honest, it is 11 a.m. on a Sunday.
Yeah.
We are drinking high noons, but I think this calls for a drinking moment.
Yeah.
Risa M. Tisa.
Cheers to you, sister.
Cheers to you, sister. It is over 500 minutes long. Yes. On TikTok. Tiffany and I watched it on the TikTok app. So if she getting paid, I'm glad my money going towards that.
I'm weak.
Okay?
I did indeed do a summary for work. So
yes,
thank you for telling me about it.
50 parts, and I watched every single one of them.
Oh, same.
My mom is even watching it. Auntie's watching it.
Everybody knows about this story.
Is watching it.
Like, for a very short moment, I was like, oh my God, this is just like a huge chronically online moment. I actually ended up summarizing it and telling it to my mother. She then went into work the next day. Everybody at her office was talking about it. Everybody at the office was talking about it. It was crazy. So, yeah, basically, we're going to be doing a summary on the Who the Fuck Did I Marry series by Risa Tisa.
And we'll get some thoughts, too. The first thing I would like to note before Tiffany gets into her summary.
Go ahead.
She is 100% taking full responsibility for, one, everything that has happened.
Yes.
And two, she is very clear about how she said she was lonely and desperate. I think that like people have been missing that on Twitter. She was honest about the fact that she was lonely. She was honest about the fact that she was desperate.
Yeah.
But as we talk about all this, I do want to keep in mind religion plays a massive role in this, because some of the things that happened, she then proceeded to say she felt like this was happening to her because she was not being obedient to God.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring that up last because I think that is also some color as to why such and such was happening.
Yeah.
And why shit went on for way too long.
Yeah.
But let's get into it.
Just to give both background on the two characters, not even the characters, but basically Miss Risa herself, and then who she thought was her husband, her person.
McCoy.
She refers to him as Legion in the series, but somebody later on, a creator, does find out who the real man is. He also takes to social media and says his perspective. So today we're going to be discussing Risa Tisa's perspective of the story. Just want to put that disclaimer, right?
Fuck Jerome.
Fuck Vine, bitch. Fuck Vine, bitch. Okay, so to start off, who is Risa? So Risa is the woman who's creating this series. She is a Georgia girl who basically, like Chandler said, was in a moment of her life where she was looking for somebody. She was on dating apps.
She was in her 30s.
Right. So it was on Facebook dating and another dating app that I don't think Hinge. Okay. So I know for sure that her and Legion met on Facebook dating, but they did actually match on these two different apps. Anyways, so she works in law enforcement, but she's not a police officer. She just works within law enforcement, if that makes sense. And she also lives in a like 2 to 3 bedroom like townhome that she rents. And so Legion, he is apparently someone.
This is what he said.
Right. He recently relocated to the Georgia area from California. He went to San Diego State, where he played football. He then, after graduating from San Diego State, played arena football and eventually found his first wife, which was his first marriage, who had 2 children already prior to, so they were his stepchildren. And basically he came home one day and found his now ex-wife cheating on him with another man, according to his story and how he told it to Risa. He then decided to get a divorce, and at first it wasn't amicable, but he ended up relocating to Georgia to work at a condiments company, but he still had a relationship.
Well, and I would like to say, he wasn't only working at that condiments company. He said he was the vice president.
Right. And that's key. Company. That's very key.
I think VP is key.
Yes. So we're talking C-suite level, if you will. So that means you're going to be getting a lot of money. You're at
least $250K. Exactly.
So anyways, but he still kept a relationship with his stepchildren, a very close relationship.
So he said.
How Risa and Legion met was right before the pandemic, right before the COVID-19 shutdown that happened across the country, right? And so basically on the way to the first date, Risa popped a tire, which she says should have been her first initial red flag. So note to self, if you ever pop a tire or something crazy happens on the way to a date, Don't go, girl. Run.
Don't go.
It's a warning sign. God said, not today.
Don't go.
So anyways, on the way to the first date, she pulls over to a gas station. He meets her at the gas station. He helps her out with the tire and actually ends up buying her a new brand tire. So she was like, oh my gosh, wow. They end up going to Cheesecake Factory. And they just really
don't let no man take
hit it off. This is a different conversation. We're not talking about cheesecake today.
I know.
But they really hit
That's
it
That's
off.
Lisa Marcus.
They really hit it off and went on a few more dates. And of course, in March of 2020, COVID-19 took...
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Okay? It shut the literal world down, but specifically also the United States. And so they decided, they were going to quarantine together. But also, too, I just want to give this disclaimer.
Well,
we also all remember that quarantine was only supposed to be 2 weeks. Remember that?
Well, I will say they lived in Atlanta. So I was in Jersey during the shutdown.
Yeah.
It's
very different.
Quarantine
very different.
Was
very
not
different.
the New York, New Jersey quarantine.
Right.
So yeah. I think we should also put that out there because what we was doing up here,
they was not doing up down there.
Y'all hookah lounges was still open. So okay.
Anyways, so yeah, obviously they quarantined, which in the nature of quarantine, things escalate very quickly. You're with that person every day. So they decided to quarantine at Reese's house because he lived in a studio. It should be noted during this time that he was looking for a house since he just relocated, but was staying in this studio in the meantime until he found his house. Proof
of funds.
Which we're about to get into, the proof of funds. So around the time after however long they've been dating, they decided that, Legion presented to Risa that he wanted to purchase a home and build a future with her, essentially. And so he presented to her this JP Morgan Chase bank loan of $700K up to $700K that he was approved for. He also shared with her that he had...
he also said he would be making this purchase in all cash.
Yes.
I think that's also... all cash $700K.
Well, whatever the house price was, because some of the houses they were looking at was less or more.
Yes, but if you're approved for that much,
lot of
all
money.
cash, I want to be in your banking app with my finger scrolling up and down. Because you're not finna play me like that. And I said that as we were watching that, I said, when he started talking about them bank statements and then proof of funds, Risa was like, yeah, he showed me he had... Okay, we're going to get there.
Yeah. No, you're fine. So... you're fine. So he had basically showed her that bank loan that he was offered, but also, too, he did say that he had a savings that he had basically had a lot of money in from his past football arena days. I don't know how much arena football players make, but...
Not that.
They're and he also had
teacher salaries, probably even less.
I don't know.
No, I'm telling you.
He also said he had an offshore account with money in it. Basically, he had done a lot of saving and investments to set himself up to financially be able to make an all-cash offer on a home that he wanted to pay for them to live their life and start a family with.
We should also note that when he started talking about the house, she found out that she was pregnant in April of 2020.
Which really to her was like, okay,
we need to get a move on this.
Yes. Yeah. Also during this time, they were looking at cars. So basically Legion told her...
BMW X5 cognac interior.
We gonna get our sis that car, okay? But... basically Legion told her that the company that he worked for, the condiment company, wanted him to get a company car. And so he started bringing her out car shopping with him to test drive. And then he presented to her soonly after that he would like to purchase her car. Now, I know a lot of y'all are like, well, this seems like a lot of things that he's just offering to pay for. And to me, I too would be skeptical. But a very important note to have in this story is that when he came into her life, he was paying all her bills.
He paid everything her rent, except her car note.
Her groceries. He paid basically for all her expenses except for what I guess
her car note and her phone bill.
Okay.
And her car insurance. But like When you're paying everything else, that's nothing. I pay that in my sleep.
So the point is that she never financially really questioned him. But there was a point where he did, quote unquote, show her some bank statements on his online banking app. But we find out later that none of that was true. None of that was true.
Printer was working overtime.
So just to keep note, she's pregnant now. So that's thrown into the mix. They are going to a lot of opening houses, house hunting for a new home. They are doing a lot of test driving on a lot of cars. It's a lot of stress. And they decide, Legion decides that when they pick the houses that they want to pick, he wants to, put in an offer. So he reaches out to whatever realtor at the time. Needless to say, somehow, every time when it came to showing some form of proof of funds or even just getting to the point of putting in an offer, there seems to be something that just goes wrong. We want the basement on this home to be finished, and the buyer, quote unquote, said that they didn't want to do it and went with another customer. And then it comes to, they want to see proof of funds prior to even putting an offer in, and
which is normal,
right? And that's also, too, why still at this point, things aren't being questioned. But after multiple attempts of trying to get a home, basically, Risa gets so worn and stressed out to the point where she sadly has a miscarriage. Now, this is a very touchy topic that we are going to be discussing. And so, because she had a miscarriage, she did have to end up getting a DNC, which is basically a surgery that's performed on women who deal with miscarriages.
She had to have an induced abortion.
Yeah, or are going to get an abortion. And so he was supposed to take her to the hospital where she was getting it done. 2 days prior to, he told her that the president of his company was coming in to have a board meeting with him, and that essentially he was going to have to go to that board meeting. And if she needed to reach him, she would have to reach out to his executive assistant, who would have his phone and would let him know in any case of emergency, and to be a person of communication in between her during her procedure, which a DNC you do go under. And so basically he was going to pick her up after the surgery. She was supposed to be at this hospital for an hour and a half. And she was at this hospital for 3.5 hours because he was stuck in this quote unquote board meeting. And the doctors were trying to communicate with him, but were only getting through to his executive assistant. He finally gets out of the board meeting and he says he's on his way. He ends up getting caught in traffic, which in the Atlanta metro area is not uncommon. The traffic there is known to be very bad. But that situation really, I feel like, also to set off her being like, I don't want to see no more homes. I don't want to do any more car shopping. Don't talk to me. Don't say nothing to me about nothing.
So she said at this point in time, she started doing video diaries.
Yes.
Now,
she says she doesn't know why, but she felt like she needed to record her thoughts. She just felt like God really told her.
Yes. If God calls me to make video diaries because of the shit you are putting me through, God is going to call me to leave you. This is the sad part, where desperation and loneliness should not have you forgetting the basics.
Yeah.
And your common
and your
sense
value.
and your values at all that, because you do so much more damage being in a relationship with the wrong person than you do just being by yourself.
What's the quote? I could be all bad by myself.
Risa had 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, was paying all her bills.
She was doing pretty well for herself.
She was doing well for herself. And she let this bum nigga... Go ahead, finish your story.
Okay, so just to continue on before we get off the rails.
Because we're going to talk about it in the Martini Club.
Right. Basically, the relationship continues throughout 2020. And at some point, he does present to her a ring that they had went shopping to, but she says that it was not a proposal. He put the ring on the table and basically told her, well,
you either here or you not. You with me or you against me. That's literally what that nigga said. Like,
word for word, bar for bar.
Is she with me or what?
So it wasn't a formal proposal, but she did accept the ring.
And that's December now, right? That was
she
like
didn't
November,
give us
December.
specific, but that was right before they got married, which was in January of
2021.
Yeah.
Now, January 2021, we're at a whole year. This nigga now has been, almost a whole year. This nigga has now been lying for 10 months. She said she married him on January the 3rd? And by January the 21st, she knew she had fucked up.
Yeah, it wasn't even 30 days into the marriage.
Not even 30 days. She was like, I knew I fucked up.
Yeah.
I also want to say, because a couple other things are going to come out, part of this also would have been, I'm a big proponent of, one, tell your friend shit. Now, this don't mean go into your group chat of 10, 15 people and be like, y'all, look at what this nigga just did. Like, no. But I mean, telling one person just like something, and it doesn't have to be the ins and outs of your entire relationship, but Risa calling a trusted friend or even a family member and just being like, something is not right. Yeah. They would have told her to leave early. Yeah. Because potentially, she sat in that relationship for a couple years, and well, not a couple years, but longer than she 100% needed to. And her reasoning was, one, what happens in the home stays in the home. And two, she was staying because she didn't want God to be mad at her for leaving this marriage. But it's like, this man deceived you and lied to you, and you stayed because you thought God was going to send you to hell?
Well, I didn't get that from her. I thought it was just more of, she thought it was just her turn, and she said she felt like she ignored every red flag that God gave her.
Yes, but as she was recounting the story as like going back to, I'm putting myself back in the shoes of like me back in 2021. She
operated as a Christian woman.
Yes, and I think that that's part of the problem. Okay. Not operating as a Christian woman, but
the way that
her mindset had her stuck in the BS. Yeah. Because it's just kind of like, girl, God and suffering should never even be in the same sentence. I think that's weird.
Because God would never put you through nothing.
That's weird.
God is a forgiving God. God understands that, like, this is how I was raised. God understands that you're going to make mistakes and that there's going to be things that you are going to need to be forgiven for. But also, too, he's always working on you. He's never giving up on you. And so, I feel like people sometimes, like, from the way that they've been, raised through religion, it sometimes can hinder them more than help them, unfortunately. And so, but if anyone out there very much, like, is a Christian woman or just a Christian and like uses that to help them guide themselves through relationships, you also too have to understand that God wouldn't lie to you. God wouldn't deceive you. God wouldn't do any of those things. So I just want to say that, but that's only if you within the Christian religion. But
yeah, I'm not religious, nor do I claim to be. I don't subscribe to any of that, but let's stop using God to absolve us of critical thinking. And I think that was part of her problem. Yes. And she said it. She was the first person to say that.
And she always took full accountability for everything. She 100%
did. But this is going to continue to happen to other women like her because God this, God that, God this, God that. When it's just kind of like, no, you just weren't being the smartest today. Yeah. And that's okay. But.
Well, not the smartest. It's just that I think... like she said, she was desperate. I don't want to clock anybody's intelligence here because,
well, I'm not clocking her intelligence, but the decisions were not smart.
Their decision making was not the best.
You had all of this information present to you and said, I am still going to elope and marry this man. Mind you, we didn't even finish telling y'all the story.
But I think that's circumstance more than it is intelligent, like, because she's in the mindset of I'm
not calling her dumb.
No, but there's people on the internet who are like calling her stupid.
I'm not calling her stupid. I'm saying the action was stupid,
right?
Because you could make I do stupid things, but I'm not a stupid person. She did, and that was why she was scared to tell her friends and family that she married this man, because everybody's supposed to be like, girl, what the hell?
Right, and I also feel like, too, if you feel like you can't share things with your friends and family, that's also a major red flag. Yeah. So after she got married, they celebrated Valentine's Day together. They also celebrated her birthday together, and he planned out everything, and she had a really good time. Something that he did propose to her later down the line was a trip to London. Now, at this
was
point,
in February, and with the trip in July.
Okay. At this point, everything that he always did was print things out or present to her some form of documentation. To the point where when she was telling this story, people were calling him the vice president of printing. Mm-hmm. So he had, one day she came home to a printed out itinerary and hotel selection.
Lying to lie.
Of a trip to London. Now, anyone who knows Risa, she said, knows that her dream is to go to Paris and London. She wants to be a true, wants to go through all of the tourism and the history of Paris and London. And so it's a trip that she knew she always wanted to do, and clearly Legion presented to her as a gift to her. And so, needless to say, like everything else, unfortunately, things just never worked out when it came to the trip, when it came to the house, when it came to the car. For the trip, it was a passport issue, quote unquote. So they did not go on the trip. Also during this time, Risa basically discovered, after snooping in Legion's phone, that he had been communicating inappropriately and exchanging photos with women on Facebook Messenger. She, brought it to him, and they basically decided that they were going to do marriage counseling. At this point, they had only been in a relationship for they had only been in a marriage for a couple of months. So they decided to go to marriage counseling with her pastor that she's been going to the same church for a while now. And so the pastor and the wife basically did the therapy with them. Basically, the pastor and wife said to them, they wouldn't have told them or recommended them to even get married after analyzing their situation.
But that was also, she said that was her second come to Jesus moment, because the first one she had was with the realtor Amber. Mm-hmm. When Amber called her, and Amber was like, I don't know why he won't show proof of funds, And Risa's like, yeah, I'm not understanding either. And Amber said to her on the phone, and Risa said this is what woke her up when she started snooping. Right. And then that was when the pastor's wife also came to her. She said Amber told her, when y'all are ready to buy a house, or when you are ready to buy a house, you call me and I'll work with you. Right. And that was when Risa said, that she said that she thinks that was God trying to give her a sign of like, girl, you need to wake up. I'm trying to tell you, like, you need to wake up. So between that and the pastor's wife, Risa was like, okay, bitch, I got to get up out of here.
So the pastor's wife basically also expressed that she did not think that they would make it a year in their marriage, period.
And they didn't.
And so essentially they continued doing couples therapy or marriage therapy. And eventually Legion was like, I'm not doing this no more, because basically the pastor and his wife were starting to catch on to him and see that this man was really not who he said he was. And so, again, like Chandler said, during this time, as Risa said, she became the FBI, the CIA, and Homeland Security. She started doing more research on him. She ran his Social Security. And she
ran two different ones.
Yes, because he provided two different numbers.
Yep.
One was on their marriage license, and a different one was on paperwork that she had to get his Social Security on for a new job that she wanted to go work.
But my thing is, if you provide the wrong Social Security number on your marriage license, is your marriage now void?
So she did look into that.
Did she do that on live? I should have joined the live.
No, so she looked into that later on down the line, and as long as the government name and the birthday is correct in the state of Georgia.
Okay. Because some states... See, they going to get Legion right now. They're going to get him right now. Y'all hear that? They're going to get him. No, because I think some states, if that number wrong, you not married.
It should be no.
And she did the when she looked up the Social Security number, she then ended up finding out that this man had been had been living in the state of Georgia the whole time.
No.
But he had been living in a myriad of states, But California was never one of them.
Right. So basically...
And she was confused.
But just to give context, sorry, because I do want to give context on where he was, his Social Security background came from. It said that he was born and living in Pennsylvania, because he did say he was from Philly. So that checked out. He did have a marriage in the state of Rhode Island, not California.
And he also had a marriage in the state of Georgia, so this man was married twice. She only knew about one time.
Right. But he had been in Georgia a lot longer than what he claimed to be when they had met.
Yes. So Risa now goes to the Clayton County court, and she asks for some Clayco court documents. She say, open them up. I need to read them.
She saw that there was a phone number to one of the past ex-wives. So she decided to call this number. And the first thing this lady said to her was, if you are calling me,
it's bad.
It must be real bad. So basically, Risa starts asking the ex-wife questions, which honestly, like, the ex-wife really, like, she did not have to do that at all. But I think woman to woman, she understood what she went through and had to basically, confirm Risa's experience. And so Risa asked her questions basically about him, and she found out that he never lived in California, which at this point she realized that. But she also found out that basically he had claimed throughout his story that people had died from COVID. He had said that her daughter. Yeah, the ex-wife's daughter, so his stepdaughter, had recently passed from COVID. He also said his grandmother had passed from COVID less than a year ago. All of that, come to find out, wasn't true. The daughter was alive and doing well. But basically, the ex-wife had revealed to Risa that everything that she knew of this man was a lie. And so from there, Risa went home. And at this point, Legion had been suffering from a very mysterious knee injury, which Risa personally feels like was a symptom of a bigger problem. She knows that his parents both had dealt with cancer. And so she never knew exactly what the knee situation was, but it had him bedridden. So he was in bed for, at this point, a couple of months.
Them nasty ass Powerade bottles.
He was drinking Powerade and not really eating. He wasn't really getting up out of bed.
In the Powerade bottles.
So he would be drinking the Powerade, and come to find out when she went into the room, because he was staying in the guest bedroom of her home, he had been drinking that Powerade and then peeing in it. So he wasn't even getting up to go to the bathroom. At this point, she sat down on the edge of the bed and she said to him, we're going to have to get a divorce. And she explained to him in a very calm manner that it just wasn't working out for her. He obviously did not want to get up and leave. So he was really just taking his time. And at this point,
he calls his aunt.
Yes, he calls his aunt and basically explains to her the situation and says that Risa basically is accusing him of all of these things and is lying on him.
But he also says to his aunt, I ain't never lied to Risa before. And Risa said what set her off, because she was like, you've been lying this whole damn time.
At this point, she was yelling at him.
She should have done more than that.
She said she had to call her mother to make sure she ain't kill that man on the spot. And so he was just moving so slow that she ended up packing up his shit, putting it in his car, and she told him to get the hell up out of there. And after that, he basically went up to Philadelphia to his family, and I want to say like a week or a few weeks later, she gets contacted from one of his cousins.
It was like a couple of days. I don't even think it was a whole week.
So basically, she gets contacted from his cousin. It's just like, hey, can I confirm this with you? Were you married to Legion or dating him? And basically, Risa said yes. She finds out from the cousin that Legion had been telling the cousin and the rest of his family members up in Philadelphia that he came home to his wife cheating. Mm-hmm. Doesn't this sound a little interesting? And basically that it was with somebody she had worked with at the law enforcement agency, and even conspired to like make up some name. I don't even know what the name was, but it doesn't.
Lie like that should put you in the fucking loony bin.
Basically, the cousin called because she had to confirm this with her, and she said, no, that's not true. And she said, Yeah, well, the cousin revealed that he had been lying since he was a child.
And found out that Legion had a twin brother.
Right, so hold on, let's back up, because he basically, something that Legion did on a daily basis was would talk to his older brother, and on a very frequent, basis.
Every morning, not frequent, daily.
Well, okay, so hold on. His older brother he talked to on a daily basis.
Yes.
But he had other siblings that he also talked to on a frequent basis.
Yes, but I think the most important part is Risa said he used to be on the phone kiki-kakaing with that older brother every single morning, at least 45 minutes every morning.
But also, too, he said that he had 5 siblings. He said he had 2 sisters and 3 brothers. Come to find out, he has 2 brothers. So there's only a total of 3 of them. One was a twin and the other one was older. Neither of them, actually, none of his family really
none of them fuck with him because he been lying. They
do not contact him. They don't speak to him. The last time that his older brother and the cousin confirmed this spoke to him was during a recent family member's death, which was back in 2015 during the funeral. That was the last time they had communicated. So come to find out, again, the cousin basically solidified that everything he said was a lie. She even said that he never even left the East Coast, as much as he was trying to say he was, living in California for all that time. And basically, the cousin went to go confirm with the older brother because, again, like me and Chandler said, he had been talking to this older brother every day on an extensive call, extensive dialogue, holding these conversations. This leads to basically Risa coming to the conclusion that all of these conversations and phone calls that he had were just with himself. These were made up phone calls and conversations. And so, to me, when you hear something like this, to me, what this tells me is this man has been doing this for so long that he has mastered holding fake conversations. But also, too, there's something a part of...
But, Risa, you didn't catch on?
My thing is,
I'm
a FaceTimer. I like to see people face. But anyways, she ends up talking to the older brother. The older brother also confirms more lies that basically Legion had told. And let me just tell you the lies in total that this man lied about. So, first and foremost, his knee pain, he said, was from his arena football days of a past football injury. So that was a lie. Also, too, Risa contacted San Diego State. They have no records of him attending. Also, too, she found documents that he actually had of him being terminated from the condiment company, but he was not a VP. He was a forklift driver. He also, like I mentioned, lied on his family members. So he lied about the death dates of his grandparents. And he lied on his father having 2 children outside of the marriage.
And also the cemetery where he took her, where he said that his grandmother was buried, was just somewhere that he was working at on nights.
Yes, at some point in time. Also, too, he had a quote-unquote work phone. Come to find out that work phone was actually a personal phone. And it was just a phone that when she went through it had screenshots of the quote-unquote bank statements that she got. It had screenshots of the company car he said that he bought. It had screenshots of everything that he quote-unquote said,
Google
documentation.
Images was working fucking overtime.
Basically, all the images that she reverse Googled, I think that's what it's called, came back to being pictures that he had saved or screenshot off of google.com.
Let me say this. I don't say this lightly because we live in such crazy times. Y'all need to start doing your due diligence when it comes to dating people. And I'm being for real. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not questioning her intelligence or anything like that because she did just get caught up. But there are things that you need to do when you meet new people that you just need to check for yourself. And I'm not saying you should leave at the first red flag because hey, I got red flags, you got red flags. It is what it is. But when you just see a pattern of shit and you over here just be like, oh, but he pays my bills. We must do better.
So just to finish the story, basically Risa filed for divorce. And she had to wait for the divorce paperwork to basically get signed off by a judge. And in between that time, Legion obviously went up to go visit his family. His family basically told him he could not stay with them. So he came back to Georgia. During this time, he found out that technically, because they were still married, he could still live and occupy the home that Risa was living in currently. And so he threatened to come back to the house on multiple occasions.
I also thought that was strange too. I don't know anything about Georgia state law, but I did think that was strange that the police told her that, because his name was never on anything, even though that they were married though. So it's like, is he still entitled to that?
I don't know, because it's renting. I feel like
but
it's
that's
different.
The thing. So I was like, yeah, she was renting, so technically he shouldn't have been allowed up in there.
I don't know, y'all, when it comes to the law of things.
Well, I know. I'm just saying. I know we don't know, but I'm just saying I thought that was strange. I don't know what Georgia got going on, but
yeah, I mean,
I thought that was weird.
Right. I also too just want to know, and I'm sorry that we're jumping a lot around because it's just so much to this story. But when she was looking into the stuff that he did leave behind in the home, outside of just like those paperwork of him being terminated from his job and what his actual job was, she also saw weekender jail receipts. So he had a criminal history, which included him impersonating a police officer.
Which is a felony, by the way.
So she also noticed, she said if she would have known he had a criminal history, she would have never even continued the relationship after that first date. Also too, during the time when he was threatening to basically come back to the home, he had been living in his car because everybody had turned him away. I don't know about that studio apartment. I don't know if that studio apartment ever existed.
I don't even think he ever had one.
I think he was just
hobosexual.
I think he was hopping from relationship to relationship and living in these women's spaces.
With these women, yes. And the thing is like, y'all were letting them. So, I personally, and I don't want to, I'm not going to get into it can't be me. But I just think y'all need to start doing a little bit better due diligence, because this man, first of all, and I understand people were vulnerable during COVID, and a lot of shit was going down, especially during COVID, but girl, you moved that man in and you ain't even see what his space looked like.
Yeah, no, that is kind of crazy.
That's weird. That's so, like, you moved this man into your home and you haven't even walked into his house at all.
That is kind of, I personally couldn't do that. I would need to see where you living at.
You not moving in with me.
Well, yeah.
Fuck that. You're not moving in with me.
I'll come visit you.
Yeah, like, you're not moving in with me. Also, you're a man. I just think, like, you a man paying all my bills and you moving in with me? No, nigga, move us out.
That's true.
I just think, like, the whole thing was just, I feel for her, but at some point I was like, bitch, you grown as fuck.
Also too, during the time of like when she was waiting for these divorce papers to get signed off, he did try to like not sign his portion of the divorce. Yeah, he tried to not sign them. And then, but she had to end up meeting him like at like a UPS or something for him to sign off on it, and there had to be like a notary there and everything. And she said at this point she had noticed that he had lost so much weight that he went from a 3X to a medium. So again, that kind of puts us more into like, this was beyond a knee injury. Like, there's something like genuinely like medically wrong here. And she also could tell he hadn't been showering for weeks and that he had been living out of his car.
She said the stench that came off that man. She
even gave him money to go.
To give him some food.
She ain't
got like $20.
She said, this is enough money for you to go get some chicken nuggets. I said, Lord, child, not the chicken nuggets. So yeah, and basically right before these divorce papers could get signed, he was like, I'm coming home. That's what he said to her. And she basically had been in the contact with the sheriff in whatever part of Georgia that she lives in at this point, or county.
I think she was living in Clayton County.
Okay.
Clayton.
But basically the sheriff said that technically according to Georgia law, he could come back and stay with her in this home. And so come to find out, the sheriff actually found out that there was a warrant currently out for his arrest. Also, too, he wasn't paying the car note on his own car. So,
but my thing, and this is where I have questions. The money that, because let's say rent in Atlanta, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, it's probably gonna run you like $1,300-$1,400. Like, you know, get you, from where she was living, I'm thinking it's gonna be around $1,300-$1,400.
She said her expenses and rent, I think, were all around $14,000.
Okay. Where was he getting this money?
Well, basically, from her understanding is that because
he floated her for over a year.
But because her expenses were so low, she wasn't surprised that he would be able, even off of just being a forklift driver, which I don't know how much money forklift drivers make, but he clearly made enough money to be able to pay for that rent for a certain period of time. But when he fell with that quote unquote knee injury, that's when, like,
but my thing is like, you paying all my bills, you could have paid your own.
I mean, we don't know how he was paying.
You could have had somewhere to live. No, he didn't. His bills weren't getting paid. She said that.
His car note was not getting paid.
Car note was not getting paid. He was looking and seeming fucking homeless. So I'm just like, were you scamming to be able to pay?
And some, we don't know how he got this money. And I don't even know if we ever will know.
So many unanswered questions.
Yeah. I don't think Risa will ever know either, because he won't even tell the truth.
No, she said that. She said there's a whole bunch of things that she will not know. But I just think, like, a lot of this, one, did not have to go on for that long. But two, y'all need to start being a little bit more honest with yourselves. Do not let your desperation and your loneliness basically, like, cloud your judgment. Also, circling back to what I was saying earlier, God and religion should not absolve you from critical thinking. God needs you to critically think about this man that is sitting up in your home and lying to you every day. You being obedient to whatever the hell is not the problem. The problem is you looking at everything presented to you, still turning a blind eye. That's the issue.
Just to finish up the Risa Tisa saga, the story. Basically, on his way back home, because he did have a warrant out for his arrest, the sheriff told her, when he shows up, call the police and we will pull up on him and arrest him. So she doesn't even have to worry about him coming into the home. And so he did indeed pull up. And she was on her way back home from work, and she sat away from a distance enough to see the police. She actually communicated with the police. It was like, yeah, that's him right there. And he got arrested. So with that being said, I know this podcast is kind of just...
We're out of order today, y'all.
Yes, but it's in the nature of the way that this story is. So we are going to go into the Martini Club. Now, obviously, today we are not drinking martinis because why? It is 11 a.m. So we decided that we're just going to do, a cute little... high noon. I mean, technically it is still a cocktail, but we're drinking just a vodka seltzer lemon. So this week, apologies, but there's not going to be a martini recipe, but we still will be doing the Martini Club, and this basically will be our thoughts. For me, I'm going to discuss
it's loneliness versus singleness,
but also too relationships with pathological liars or people who are just distrustful, because I've dealt with somebody.
I dealt with a couple,
not nowhere near to the extent of Risa Tisa's experience.
I dealt with a couple liars,
but I've dealt with people who are have come back as serial liars. I want to know how you feel about this situation. I want to know how this has impacted you, because it impacted me so much. It got brought up in therapy.
I mean, I don't think it really impacted me.
Did it make you think on past relationships?
Yes, but also, like, I think my situation is different because, like, when shit happened to me, I was 19.
Yeah.
I was 20.
Yeah.
Not 35, 36.
Which we don't know her exact age, but
well, I think she's, like, somewhere in her 30s.
In her 30s,
but, like, again, like, I was a child. Still going through, like, relatively young person shit, young person relationships. So, I wasn't, like, affected per se directly. I do feel for her and I do feel bad for her,
right?
and sad for her. But the only thing, what it really gave me was, it gave me vindication as to why I move with so much pause in relationships, because you really just never know
who you're dealing with,
who you're laying down next to,
yeah,
and who you're choosing to confide in. It also did a lot for me in the realm of friendship as well. I think this entire situation made me look back at like friendships I probably shouldn't have been in, or people that I've given the benefit of the doubt to, knowing that you've lied,
right?
And I've just been like, okay, I guess whatever. Like, I know I clocked you in this lie. Like, I was in a situation very recently, used to clock her lies all the time, but I wouldn't do anything because I'd be like, it's not that deep. But, you know, like, niggas should not be lying like that anyway. Risa 100% was not the first.
Oh, no, because he was at master level at this point.
And she definitely will not be the last.
Which is
terrifying.
terrifying.
And that is the sad part. And these niggas know that. And I also think that do not let these men and women too, because, okay, play off y'all's desperation.
Yeah.
Don't, because you are doing so much better being at home chilling by yourself than being in a relationship with the wrong person.
So for me personally, I have dealt with somebody who I think might have been a pathological liar. If not a pathological liar, was caught in a lot of lies in a past, not even relationship, just like a situationship of mine. And it was nowhere near the extent of Risa Tisa, but her situation made me reflect on that situation. And it did get brought up into therapy. And it's just so interesting to me because I saw a similar pattern between Legion and this past partner of mine, of a lot of promises were made. And then, because what a main thing, and I talked about this on my own personal TikTok, was a main thing that she took away from this situation was that Legion liked how excited she would get over these possibilities that he would drop to her,
that he
and
knew
then
he was
it would get snatched away from her. He got a high off of that. But I was lied to up and down. My relationship was much shorter because I basically ended things. But you do not know who some of these people are. And to me, I was very much love bombed. And then like when the 90-day clock hit, it was like something snapped. Suddenly things were going left. Don't give yourself all to somebody. I know people can find the love of their life in like a couple of weeks and like they'll be with that person forever and they'll have a healthy, loving relationship.
That's rare.
But not even is that rare.
That's not all y'all.
You still should protect yourself.
Yes, I agree.
Because you do not know who somebody is. I really don't even think you really know who somebody is even after knowing them for a year.
But the way some of y'all be lying is actually out fucking rageous. And y'all need to be more cautious about who you let in your space.
Yeah.
Be more cautious about who you let in your circles. And assess how they treat you. Not only when they're with other people, but how they treat you behind closed doors.
Also, don't let men take you out of your true self and your character.
Absolutely.
Risa said she did not even recognize who she was at the
Even
end
her
of
mom
this.
was like, you acting different. Like what's going on? Like something is wrong.
So now we're going to go back to The Pulse, which is typically our first segment of the events that have happened in pop culture this week.
This ain't Texas. Ain't no hold 'em. So lay your cards down. So park your Lexus. Pull your keys up. Stick around, round. I'll be damned if I do, and I'm damned if I do.
I'm a honey too.
It's red light boogie, it's a red light hold down. Come take it to the phone now. Woo!
Listen.
This ain't Phaedra. This ain't Phaedra. Beyonce.
Now, just a reminder.
And Country Bitch has dropped country music.
Just a reminder,
UCB.
this is a combination of the past 2 weeks that we will be discussing.
Yes.
But obviously, as y'all can see, we do have, some nice cowgirl hats on. Okay, period.
It's for our visuals.
Period to the Western of it all. I feel like we're very, Western fashion, too.
Y'all can't see my pants, but they got a good flare on them.
Obviously, as y'all know, during the Super Bowl, Beyonce had an ad with Verizon where at the end of the ad, she announced new music.
2 songs.
2 country songs.
16 carriages running away while I... See, I ain't got to... Ooh.
Listen, the ballad.
Yeah.
Okay, so she dropped the ballad, and then she also dropped kind of like a line dance song, which is the Texas Hold'em. Yep. That is the song that went to number 1 on the country music charts, and Beyonce is the first black woman to do it. Terrifying to honestly think of, because I'm like, Tracy Chapman ain't getting number 1 for Fast Car.
No.
That is such a hit.
Yeah, I can see that though, because it's not that popular.
So I think the difference between Fast Car and Texas Hold'em is that Texas Hold'em, everybody's listening to.
Yeah. She's also bringing listeners to other black women in country as well. Some of the newer girls.
Which I do want to discuss. I have some notes here on
Miss
some...
Tanner Adele. I am a Buckle Bunny.
I had to look up what a Buckle Bunny is.
I am a Buckle Bunny.
And
that song fucking eats.
Listen, so I think what is great about Beyonce putting out these 2 country songs is that it, like you said, flashed a light on a lot of black women who are already in country music. And I think there was a fear initially when she came out with those 2 songs that people were like, oh, you know, I just want to let it be known that there are black women in this genre that have been doing this and crafting this work for years, which we would 100% be remiss if we did not discuss. And someone, as for me, I personally had created a video because Money Long had dropped her Hoedown. I don't think it's on streaming services yet, but she did a sample on TikTok that made me do a stitch on just black women shifting into country music, but also to what non-traditional country black artists would we want to hear in country music that we think would eat, right? Now, Money Long did have a prior name that she used to go to as Priscilla Renee, which is technically, I think, her government name. That. Yes, and that Priscilla Renee had a whole country album.
Oh, period.
So Money Long really getting back to her roots for sure. But also too.
But I also think that we should note, and I've seen some of this critique. They're like, Beyonce's not country. I think if you,
those are very too much country songs.
Yes, but also look at where she's from.
Oh yeah, she's always been. I'm a Texas girl.
I'm a country bitch. Okay, lived in Mississippi for 7-something years. Like, I'm a country bitch. Beyonce is a country bitch.
No, Beyonce's brand is Texas.
Yes, like, that is a country bitch.
She used to perform at rodeos.
Yes.
So,
also the original Cowboys are black, but we can save that for another episode,
right?
And because I'm just tired of the erasure.
Also, too, country music was created by blacks, enslaved people, if you will. I don't know why people are trying to go back and forth.
Well, we know black people create everything, so.
Anyways, we're not finna get into that either this episode.
It's something to get into. But y'all know.
I would like to go through the list of other black women that I think we should definitely listen to. First and foremost, one particular person that a lot of people commented under my video when I was discussing Money Long, Beyonce, and just, you know, the black girls that we want to see get into country. A lot of people commented K. Michelle, which, if you don't know who K. Michelle is, she is primarily an R&B artist, but K. Michelle, when she entered the music space, wanted to go into country music.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, but they told her that she would find more success in R&B, which, if you look at the R&B space, it is predominantly black.
Yeah.
And also, too, she has a very soulful voice. Needless to say, K. Michelle came out with a couple of country songs last year, but she also announced last year that she, moving forward, will only be making country music. So, needless to say, her last R&B album officially was I'm the Problem. So that is the last of R&B that we're going to get. Some of her country music that you could check out, Tennessee. That's a really good song, and Country Love Song. But also, too, she has performed at the CMAs, similar to Beyonce. Beyonce performed at the CMAs back in 2016 for her song Daddy Lessons, which was off of the Lemonade album.
Y'all weren't there, but I was. Y'all ain't get it the first time. Okay.
Daddy Lessons was one of my favorite songs off of Lemonade.
Some of the girls didn't get it the first time though, because they were very confused as to why Beyonce had this country song on her album. If you ain't like Daddy Lessons the first time, fuck you.
I'm weak. But during the time when Beyonce did perform, it became very controversial because the audience
with the Dixie
there,
Chicks too, because they're already like blacklisted in the country world.
So basically, the Beyonce and the Chicks, also formerly known as the Dixie Chicks, performed together for Daddy Lessons, which after that performance, they actually came out with their own rendition of Daddy Lessons. It's so, both versions are good. It is good. But needless to say, that performance was the CMA's most viewed performance in the history of the CMAs. And because they got so much backlash on it, because you have to remember, during this time was like the same time period that Beyonce dressed up as a Black Panther to the Super Bowl. Okay? It was giving very much Black liberation, it was giving very much Black pride, okay? Which the Lemonade album very much was for the majority.
I think it was less. There were Black pride and Black liberation elements, but I think it was more so Beyonce.
There were songs that were strictly
elements in the songs, but I think it was more so like her finding herself after this major thing had happened in her relationship, because it's like a love letter to herself.
Right.
That album.
Needless to say, going back to K Michelle actually performed at the last CMAs with Jelly Roll. She also did not get the best of reaction online.
Country music now
is a predominantly white space.
It's whiter than it should be.
Yeah.
But it does have racist undertones by some of the current people that choose to partake in that.
Yes.
And that's like for another day. But let's move into some of the country artists that we think that y'all should support. I'm going to start with Miss Tanner Adele. I am indeed a Buckle Bunny. If you have not heard Buckle Bunny, I was introduced to it on TikTok. Shout out to TikTok. Yeah. And I just think the song is so good. She looks like she favors Beyonce a little bit.
She does. It's the hair.
And everything. I like her. Also, her other music is good as well. So go listen to Tanner Adele.
Just to give you some background on Tanner Adele and to put you onto some music that definitely you should check out. Tanner Adele, she grew up in Manhattan Beach, California, but also partially lived in Star Valley, Wyoming. She moved to Nashville in the summer of 2021 and released her first songs like Honky Tonk Heartbreak and A Fave of Mine, Country Girl Commandments. That song is so Black.
It's good, y'all. It's good.
It's such a bop. To see her come out on the scene with those two songs was like, I felt like she really cemented herself within the country music space. And I can see why her fans are so loyal to her, specifically on TikTok too. She dropped her first album, Buckle Bunny, and the concept of it, which when you said she favors Beyonce, this is all very intentional. The concept of this album is Beyonce with a lasso, with blends of R&B and country, which, like, Beyonce girl, could we get, a collaboration?
The album is done. I know Beyonce's album is done, but I would like to see her, I would like to see maybe a little Tanner Adele feature in the future.
Right. No, but for real, definitely go check out, like, her Buckle Bunny, album brought me back to like how I fell in love with the Tina Snow album from Megan Thee Stallion, because it gives you so many different flavors, but it's also going into an alter ego of yourself, which I really, really fuck with. Songs off of that album that I think you should definitely stream up, check out: FU 150, Bake It, Trailer Park Barbie. She was spitting on Trailer Park Barbie, and I Hate Texas. But overall, I just feel like her music is very relatable in the sense of like her music to me when listening to it sounds like a young girl in her 20s trying to find herself and establish her womanhood. Now, I have a couple more artists I would like to talk about. Do you want to talk about anybody else that you...
Go ahead.
Okay. Somebody that I feel like at this point who's very mainstream is Mickey Guyton. Now, I feel like even though Mickey Guyton is still considered new in the country music space. I feel like she's broken through a lot of glass ceilings when it comes to Black women. So let me go ahead and give you some background on her. So she's a Texas girlie, just like Beyonce. She started singing in the church at a very young age. Now, artists that have influenced her are Dolly Parton, CeCe Winans, Whitney Houston, and LeAnn Rimes. So, you know, it's giving
country soul
with some soul, okay? And I feel like that vibe, for the most part, definitely plays out within her music. Some of my favorite songs that I think you should delve into, especially because we're still in Black History Month. Black Like Me, which is, it's truthfully a testament to Black liberation and what it's like being a Black person in America. And she also, this is where I feel like she really broke through a lot of glass ceilings. She was nominated for this specific song, Black Like Me, as the first Black female solo artist to be basically nominated for a Grammy. Now, for that to be coming out in 2021.
I listened to our other episodes and said first in our Lord's year of 2024, 2021, 2022, all these years. I personally think it's ridiculous, but
yeah, so she was specifically nominated for the category of Best Country Solo Performance back in 2021. So yeah. And just another really good song that I think y'all should check out is with Kane Brown, who is another Black artist within the country space. Their song is Nothing Compares to You. Also, other songs you should check out, Something About You and Lay It On Me. Needless to say, definitely go check out Miss Mickey Guyton. Now, some other artists that I will quickly go through. Miss Raina Roberts. If you really fuck with Tanner Adele, Raina Roberts is also another very young, in her 20s, Black country artist. I personally, if I could delve into somebody's body and like take their voice like how Ursula took Ariel's, I would want Raina Roberts' voice, okay? So she typically rocks a nice ginger hair moment. She was born in Alaska, but was a military kid. So she's kind of lived in different parts of the country, but she went from Alabama to California, then to Nashville in 2019 to pursue her country music dreams. She released her debut song, Stompin' Grounds, in 2020 around the Black Lives Matter protest. The song is very empowering and discuss like Southern roots. Also too, she recently dropped her Bad Girl Bible album, Volume 1, which means we will be getting more volumes. And when I tell you, I sat through this entire album, no skips, okay? Everything from the instrumental down to like her voice was just eating for me. But yeah, I feel like similar to her and Tanner, we're seeing like their true rise to stardom into mainstream music right now. And then a group that I just have to shout out because they are such a beautiful, soulful group within the country space. Definitely church women in the country space. Chapel Hart. They are Mississippi girls. They consist of two sisters, Danica and Devin Hart, and their cousin Tria or Treya Swindle. But yeah, basically this group is where like country and church meets. They all grew up together in Hart Chapel, hence the name. And it clearly inspired their debut song in 2019, Just Say I Love You. If you close your eyes and listen to that song, it's a love song, but it very much gives church. Like I can see myself hearing it in church. Also too, something to note, they have made it very clear they're not creating music in the country space to get famous. They're creating music as a service to the people. Okay, I like that, to serve the people. One of my favorite songs by them, Jesus and Alcohol. It gives very much church girl vibes, okay, by Beyonce. And then also too, their most recent album came out in 2023, Glory Days. Go check it out. Go stream it. They actually saw my video and they followed me and commented on my video.
Fabulous.
So that's all that I have to talk about today. Follow my TikTok at MAMITIFF as I will be continuing to talk about more Black women, more Black people in the country space.
Yes, and we've been running our mouths in this segment for a really long time.
Yes.
So we're going to get into our speed roundup, which is our hot one-liners and call-outs in pop culture. Portia Guobadia, formerly known as Portia Williams, is returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta in lieu of Candy's departure. But Portia Guobadia may no longer be Portia Guobadia anymore after she is now being divorced from Mr. Simon Guobadia in lieu of a alleged scam, an alleged fraud scheme. So we're going to leave that there.
Yes. After 15 months of being married.
She knew. She came what she got for and she left. In period. That real city girl shit. Next, allegedly, Marlo and Sanya are out of the cast of Real Housewives.
I think Marlo confirmed that.
Oh, she did confirm that?
I think
okay,
she confirmed
good.
that.
They need to throw Drew in there with them, okay? It's also alleged that Shamia is coming back, and they need to bring Eva back as well, because I like the both of them. I thought it was great.
A revival of the Real Housewives of Atlanta cast, I would like that.
I would love that. I would love that. And, you know, maybe we can even see Nene back a little something. I don't know. You know?
Yeah.
Act 2 for Beyonce drops on March 29th. Sacred, Beyonce's new hair care line, has also dropped within the past week, and the reviews
I've
of
ordered
it
some products.
are great.
Yeah.
Sabrina Breyer has made her appearance on Abbott Elementary as Jessica. Not Jessica. Jessica. Jessca. Normani is dropping a new album.
I saw that.
Coming very soon. Long awaited. So we gonna see, you know, what's going on with our girls. Aya Adebri has won a SAG award for her role in The Bear.
She is racking.
Extremely exciting because everything she has been nominated for in The Bear, she has
won.
So I call that a clean sweep, and let's continue to sweep some more. And rest in peace to our beloved Eric Mays.
Oh.
Rest in peace to Eric Mays. R.I.P. to a legend. Flint, Michigan put out a statement Saturday, February the 24th, that he has passed. May he rest in peace. And also rest in peace to another legend. Be who you are for your pride. You got to get on your Zoom. Every single morning you got to get on your Zoom. Or they gonna report me if you don't get on your Zoom. She has passed away as well. May she rest in peace. And that is it for the Pulse, y'all.
Just to add a quick note, it has been come out that Woody Williams has a recent diagnosis of aphasia.
Early onset dementia as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I wanted to add to the pop culture speed round for our Girl Let's Talk segment in the beauty and fashion of it all. We're gonna keep it short and concise because I know we've been running our mouths. Just a quick shout out, as we already discussed, the Sacred hair care line that Beyonce put out has officially dropped. I personally purchased the deep conditioner and a styling product that she has because it's supposed to be for curls and coils. So I have not used it, obviously, because I have braids in. But when these braids come out, honey, just know I'm going to be on the social medias with a review. But also, too, Beyonce had an event with a bunch of influencers. It was an all-white party. Okay? And
I know black folk love a good all-white party.
We just have to shout out some of our faves that we saw there. First and foremost, shout out to Alicia Marie, Brett Maroc, and then one of me and Chandler's very favorite podcast, The Read.
The Read. Shout out Kid Fury and Crystal.
Period.
Leaders, presidents of the Beyonce Hive. They got to meet our girl. And honestly, I was listening to this episode earlier, and they're telling the story about how the whole thing went down. Extremely, extremely excited for them. But also, I've heard nothing but good things, especially from licensed. Yeah. Emphasis on licensed cosmetologists, because I think that is something you bitches are lacking nowadays, a license. And real schooling regarding hair care. Yeah. The girls love it. And they say it's good. And I have seen it myself go, like, literally transform the hair. Yeah. So, also, Beyonce good in my book.
Also, too, I think it's important to note when she was creating this hairline, she wasn't just thinking of, like, the care of hair, but the care of scalp. Mm-hmm. For me personally, I have not only dandruff, but I also get eczema flare-ups in my scalp. So I'm very intrigued. I will eventually buy, like, all of the products, but I just wanted to start off with things that I knew I'd be able to use right away. And so I am excited to see how my hair and my scalp reacts to the products, knowing that I have, these issues.
Also, seeing the 3 generations, like seeing Miss Tina, Beyonce, and Blue. Because also, let's talk about the Essence shoot as well.
Yes.
I ordered the magazine. It is on the way.
She looks great on those covers in the natural and straight hair.
Phenomenal. I thought it was absolutely amazing. And I just think that this is like right up Beyonce's alley as well.
It aligns very well with the brand.
I think so. Some people have tried to say she has no, like, oh, why would she do this? It kind of makes no sense. She has no, like, calling towards this. But, like, her mother owned a hair salon.
Her first job was in a hair salon.
Beyonce's hair, I think if I see this bitch on tour all the time, and your hair is phenomenal, 25/8.
It's healthy.
It's more than healthy. What are you doing? But Beyonce need to drop some fucking bundles too. That's first and foremost. I want the Beyonce bundles. Okay.
Facts. We want the wigs.
But no, hair care. I think this is completely up her alley. I think this is perfect.
It's very on brand for her because her first job was sweeping up hair in her mother's salon.
I also think this is Miss Tina's line that Beyonce's just putting her name behind.
She's definitely. Like,
I think she had a good hand.
Her mom is very much the face of the brand as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think she had a massive, massive hand in.
Yeah.
And now she should, because she know what the fuck she's talking
you
about.
You can see Miss Tina doing these creators' hair in the video.
Yes.
Like, ain't nothing new about this. They true to this, okay? I would love to meet Beyonce, but I want to meet Beyonce mama so bad.
Miss Tina.
So.
Hey. How y'all doing?
No, she my mama from a distance,
Hey. Y'all know Beyonce, we do have the same last name. Ooh.
Beyonce check up on me from time to time.
I got an Ivy Park box, y'all know.
Anything else that we wanted to discuss? We won't be having a fashion fodder this week, but anything else you want to discuss in this category?
No, we don't have fashion fodder. One note, and we're gonna keep it in Beyonce's family.
Okay.
Jules is a model. Now, he has walked in the Loire show. He's also now walked in the Versace show. And the boy can walk.
Yeah.
He can walk. He can model.
Right.
So shout out Solange's offspring.
Miss Tina don't play about him either. I love how Miss Tina's Instagram page is a public Facebook account of all of her children.
Yes.
She be telling all her children business. That black mama to the extent.
Yeah, no. And my grandma do the same thing on Facebook. She just don't have a couple million followers. That's
right,
fine.
right.
But that's all we have today for the pod. Today's episode is it's a long one.
I know.
It's a doozy, but
we gonna have to figure it out in the editing. But
it's a doozy. But Risa Tisa was long.
But also too, y'all didn't get
had to be long.
an episode last week.
Y'all didn't.
We needed to make up for that.
Y'all didn't. But y'all know where to find us at feminine.chaos on Instagram and on TikTok. You can also follow us on YouTube at Feminine Chaos Podcast.
Yes.
Please, if you guys are not watching the visual portion, watch it. Yeah. It's fun. We love the visual portion. Watch it. It's fun. It's good. We like it.
Also, too, we're gaining people that didn't even know about the podcast and are discovering us on YouTube. Shout out to y'all. Thank you for subscribing.
Thank y'all so much.
Y'all truly have been showing so much love to the videos. It's great. I genuinely did not think our videos would be popping off the way that they did. I didn't even think we would reach 100 views for the first couple episodes. I was like, let me not get so excited. And y'all completely, y'all really blew it out the park. So very appreciative. Also, too, if you do only listen to the audio, I beg of you, please leave us a review on the Apple Podcast, the Spotify, the Google Podcast, wherever you are listening to this podcast. Please leave a review. Feel free to comment on the videos. Some of y'all actually have commented on the videos. But yeah, feel free to let us know how you feel about the podcast. We're taking all types of critiques. I know this week was off the charts, but where can they follow you in your journey?
Y'all know where to find me. Also, I am going to restart posting on TikTok again. I know I had us on a little hiatus because not only was your girl sick, I was not feeling a little inspired lately. Mm-hmm. But I'm back, bitch.
Okay.
Y'all can follow me on TikTok at Chandelicia at CHANDELYC. IA.
Okay.
You can also follow me on Instagram at CHANDLERCCARTER.
Chandler C. Carter.
And it is also the same on Twitter as well.
Okay.
Where can they find you, Tiffany?
You know, girl, Mommy Tiff everywhere, specifically on Instagram. You can follow me at _MAMITIFF_ on TikTok, MAMITIFF, and on YouTube, if you just type in MAMITIFF, I still come up. So yeah, that's where you can follow me everywhere outside of this podcast. So yeah.
So let's cheers to that, bitch. This ain't Phaedra.
Cheers, bitch.
Cheers, bitch.